all you get. Probably better get it right. Welcome back to Shaboque, where it's double the trouble today. I've got my right-hand man, Ricky, the chaos coordinator, helping. And by helping, I mean mostly taking snack breaks on my microphone and getting his hand on my power tools unsupervised. What could possibly go wrong? We've got somebody very special today. Everybody say hello, Richard. This is my nephew. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, Mercy. Say hi, Katie. Hi, sisters. He's going to be helping me out today. We've got a special hard hat just for him. What do you think, buddy? You going to help us out today? You want to use the nail gun? Unky Will show you how to use the nail gun. And then the tails. All right, well, we've got a really special episode for you guys today. Here, you hold the microphone. Say, hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Shaboque. Okay. And that's going to do it. Yeah, they're telling me we're experiencing technical difficulties right now, and we're going to go ahead and roll the next clip. On today's episode of Shaboque, we're going to go ahead and get the siding put on the workshop finally. I can't wait. That's been another huge goal that I've been looking forward to accomplishing on this workshop project, and we're finally going to do it. But before we get started, you guys know what to do. Go grab your favorite cup of cappuccino. Maybe even a nice hot tea, or even a Pepsi. Sit back, relax, and let's get started. Alright guys, here's the wood that we've chosen to go onto the workshop. It is 6-inch wide, 10 foot long, 3/8 inch thick eastern red cedar. This is the same kind of wood that we've used on most of all the other outdoor projects on our property. Alright, let's get this project underway. I've been looking forward to doing this for a very long time. Quite frankly, I'm tired of looking at the Lowe's wrap on the building here every time I look outside or drive past, so this is a happy day that I finally get to cover most all of that up. I like to keep my air compressor in my handy dandy little pull-behind wagon. Makes it really easy for getting it in and out for these projects, especially on multi-day projects where it's probably going to rain, so trying to dodge the rain at all times with this whole situation. As you can see, I'm clamping down the first row to the railings. That way it minimizes the gap, makes it look all nice and pretty and straight there. I won't be doing it on future ones, I'll be just leveling them, but for the first one, just want to make her look nice and pretty. Breaking those clamps out again. Some of this wood has a bit of a bow to it, and the clamps really help straighten out that whole situation. Alright, first row finally put onto this project. We have a long ways to go, and a lot of problems to encounter. You'll see what I mean. So it was right here, right at the very, very beginning, that I made my very first mistake. Yes, if you notice, I was putting the level on top of the wood there. I should be putting the level on the bottom side of the wood, the exposed part. Fortunately, I have learned my lesson on this workshop to always start in the least visible area possible in a project, because by the time I get around to the more visible areas, I should have perfected the technique. So fortunately, I started in the back side of the shop here, and you'll see I'll eventually catch on and modify my technique for the rest of the build. But don't you worry, that won't be the last mistake I make here on this episode. Right about there. That's when it dawned on me that I've been using the level wrong. Oh well. No time like the present to fix the problem. Gotta give it the old line check here to see if I really screwed up, but fortunately it wasn't too bad. Not bad at all. Those boards were pretty darn good right there, and they were really straight, so I didn't really see a problem even though I did those wrong. Alright, let's do a little creative editing and get through this project a little bit quicker. My goal was never to have any of the vertical lines within at least about 12 to 18 inches of each other, so I was trying really hard to stagger all of my joints through this entire project. So as this project went on, I tried different ways to help assist me get each of these planks into place the easiest way possible. At first, as you can see here, I tried to use some clamps. In this scenario, the clamp was hanging off the roof right there to just give me a helping hand on one edge of the board. And unfortunately, this technique couldn't really be used around the entire building, and so later on I'd figure out a better technique to getting these boards to go up without having to use any kind of assistance. Time for an obligatory puppy dog break. Peas likes to really butter me up. She makes me think that she enjoys being pet, but in reality, she just wants me to throw her ball for her. Yep, there she goes. Just wait. Uh-huh. That's what I thought. Unfortunately, she predicted the wrong direction to run and thusly ended the ball game. Ah, well, back to work. So without all the fancy computer editing and speeding things up, this is actually what it looks like, the speed that I'm working at. But slower. Looks like me and a snail having a race against each other. Ah well, we'll eventually get the job done. Anyways, here we are putting that very last row of the backside on. Each of these needed to be ripped down just a little bit to fit, but we made it work. And here comes the last piece. There we go. Alright, not bad, not bad. We got a lot more to go. Alright, so I didn't show this on the first side, but what I'm doing right now is I'm putting down about a 1/2-inch piece of cedar strip right there, and what that'll do is it'll push the bottom of that first row of siding out just a little bit so that it matches that same spacing of the rows above it, but also so that it brings it flush with those railings right there. My idea is that I don't want any rainwater being able to slip down between those. I didn't put it on my videos here, but even before I put in that piece of cedar strip there, I went around the entire workshop and used a tan colored silicone in all of those spots along the railing, up the sides, along the back, just to make sure that it's good and sealed there and water's not going to slip in there and slowly deteriorate the wall behind the scenes. So by this point, I felt I'd improved my technique of getting each of these slats of siding up there. My technique had become butting up one board to the other, shooting a nail into the lower corner of wherever that butt occurs, then getting out my level, putting it up along the bottom edge of the board, and then I'd work from the side where I put the nail in to the opposite side with my level, and as I'm leveling it, I'm putting a nail in. Generally, that's my technique that I use for the rest of this entire thing. Right or wrong, I don't really know. Remember, not a professional. Especially when you see what's about to happen. And generally, I might try to hide it, but there ain't no hiding this one, guys, so hang on just a second, I'll show you. Okay, pause the video right there. All right, everything was going along hunky-dory. My lines look pretty good and all. But what I didn't pay attention to was where the two pieces of siding butt up to each other from two different sides of the wall. See? Right here. And I know what you might be thinking. Doesn't look that bad. Oh, you just wait. But like I've said before, I've learned my lesson to always start on the least visible part of a project. And so fortunately, I noticed it and made sure in the future to be way more cognizant of that. All right, resume this pile of shaboque. Oh, the pain of that misalignment. No. Don't do it. Don't nail it there. Don't. Oh, boy. Let's just keep making it worse. So anyways, my plan is this. Those ends are actually going to end up being covered by a 6-inch piece of cedar going both directions. So I'm really hoping that once I actually do put those end caps on there, that the difference won't be as noticeable to my 3 neighbors to the south. So anyways, sorry about that, guys. That your view won't be perfect, but it is what it is. Welcome to shaboque. Don't let the fancy video editing fool you. Trying to figure out the angles to these pieces that go alongside the roof took me way too long to figure out. But fortunately, as per usual, I did figure out how to do it better, so once we get around to the other side, things actually do go way quicker. So, hey, once again, it works out to get all the bugs worked out on the side that isn't as visible. Look at that. Magic. Just one attempt it took me. Not. Probably like 5 or 6 is more like it. Just like that, we wrap up another side, learn a few lessons, and continue to soldier on forward. Okay, here we go. Time to get another side covered. This time it's going to be a little bit quicker, since there's a big hole in the wall right there that we don't have to put any siding on. Quick check on length here. Looks like I could do probably about 3 of them. And I'm going to cut 3 out all of the same length real quick. That way I don't have to keep going back to the saw. Time to switch sides. One thing I did here too on the sides is I measured the rise on the left side and matched it on the right side of each of the pieces of siding. That way once I get to the row where the piece of siding connects both, it should be really close to being the exact same rise on each piece. So we'll see if it actually works out that way. Okay, here we go. Time to cut out the first full-length piece to start bridging that top gap. Gonna go ahead and break out my handy dandy clamps, and this will help me get that board up there a lot more easily. Yep, see how that board hit both sides just about spaced equally? Worked out good. I'm going to take what I've learned and cut one of the roof pieces now, see if it's a lot easier than before. I just want to point out, this was a first try success right here. No fancy video editing techniques involved. That board is absolutely not going anywhere. A couple more nails, please. This time I'm going to set up to do 4 cuts in a row to see if we can get them all right and get all the cutting done in one whack. Also of note, while I have you guys at this angle, you'll notice where the 2 walls butt up this time, I got all that siding nice and equal. See, even I can eventually learn. And to wrap this side up, let's get the last one nailed in. Here we are now on the final side. We've made it. And for such an auspicious occasion, some new threads. What do you think? You like it? You'll have to tell me in the comments if you like the new overalls or not. So once again, first things first, I'm going ahead and putting down that 1/2-inch strip of cedar along the bottom there, just like I did on all the other sides. After that, I'm putting on these spacers in the corner here. Eventually, I'll be putting some vertical trim boards here to cover up all the edges, and these will serve as a spacer to properly space them out like the siding is. Now let's get those siding pieces put on the front. You'll notice I have a board on the left-hand side of my front door over there. That's so I can cut each piece of cedar to be butted right up against the board, because right there is where the trim for the door is eventually going to be. And that'll hopefully keep everything really consistent. On the front here, I tried to leave my best boards for last. They had the least amount of knots and cracks and just had really good shape to them. And I'm trying to install it so that I only have 2 joints per section at the moment. So this is the best setup that I eventually came up with for installing these boards quickly. And as I said earlier, I put the board up there, I put 1 nail in. You'll notice that I have the level hanging from the front of my overalls there. Makes it really easy to grab it while I'm trying to hold everything up. The nailer, I'm hooking it into my pocket on my overalls, and that way if everything goes good, I can hold a board up, shoot a nail in, put the level underneath, finish the leveling process, and it makes these go by really quickly. Alright, I'm going to switch over to the other side and build up the siding to the same height as the first side. The reason for that is I want to make sure the siding on both sides rises to the exact same height so that the board that I'm going to put over the door is level and it's a single board and looks good. You'll see in just a minute. Okay, here we go. Last board of this side. And with that done, there's something else we've got to handle now. Okay, here's the new situation. Let's take a closer look. Some nice pretty stained glass windows here. What do you think we could do with these? Well, before we can do anything, we need to get them out of their frames. My weapon of choice, a putty knife. There's a small wooden strip nailed in along the entire perimeter of the frame of the window. I don't really care about saving the strip or saving the wood around the glass. I really am just trying to get the glass out of there as safely as possible. Using a razor knife to cut the paint off there before I try to pry the little wood off makes it come off easier. Okay, all the strips are out of there. Now I need to pull the nails out. And once everything is out, ta-da! the second one. Now, what should we do with this pretty glass? No, I know. Let's get a hammer out and use it to delete a board right here. When I put that board in, I did not want it to come out. I have nails and screws and all kinds of stuff in that, so it definitely took a walloping to get her out of there. Now it's time for my old friend the grinder. Need to delete some of those nails and screws that are hanging out, because I got to put something else there. And as you probably have guessed by now, yes, it's going to be those two stained glass panels. But first, we need to build a frame, we need to cut a hole, we need to install them, and then we need to build a frame around them. So, let's make that happen. You can see the frame is starting to take shape and get a good idea of what the windows are going to look like here in a minute. Okie doke, frame secure, time for the fun part. When you're using a router and don't pay attention to which way the blade is supposed to be cutting, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to go the wrong direction, which is what I did. And that's why I was looking at this thing like, why is it not cutting right? But once I finally started cutting the correct direction, everything started cutting out a lot better. I'm using a bit on there that has a little bearing, and what's happening is that I'm actually tracing around that frame that I built on the inside, and that's why it's able to cut out the perfect square right here without me having to really draw a line or anything. Pretty handy. Second one goes perfectly smooth. Nice and easy. Look at that. Pop. And we're off to the inside. Okay, next I've cut out a bunch of pieces right here. These are going to form the frame that's going to keep the window actually in. I'm going to go ahead and first secure all of those down on the outside. Then we'll slip the glass in there, and then we'll slip another frame on the inside that'll secure everything together. Okay, outer frame is officially secured. Time to do a test fit. Oh yeah, it fits. Wrong direction though. Gotta flip her around. Okay, now I use identical pieces of wood that I used on the outer side of the frame to use on the inner side of the frame now, and that'll sandwich the glass in between it. Okay, time to rinse and repeat that entire thing and get another window installed. And now time for my lovely assistant to hand me window number 2. Securing it down with all those frame pieces again. And just like that, I got me some stained glass windows in my workshop. What do you think? Okay, now we can go back to work on the siding. You can see the windows are installed up above the door. Now that I have those windows up there, I'll be able to properly adjust where the siding is going to hit them. There's going to be a frame put around those windows, so the siding has to hit at just the right place. So I wanted to make sure the windows were in before I started putting any kind of siding around them. Here's the tape measure that I really enjoy using. I was telling my brother that you can actually write on the side of it, which is really handy when you need to keep your dimensions wrote down between when you measure and when you cut. Okay, time to see if everything worked out. Here's that board above the top of the door, hoping that it'll go straight between the 2 sets of wood. Had to rip it down to the correct size so that it matches the trim that's going to be around the door there. But overall, I think it turned out okay. Quick little detour here before I get too much more of the siding on. Where I cut out the window holes, the wood needs to be screwed back into the studs that I put in, and then the plastic needs to be stapled down, and then I need to put on the weatherproofing tape that I put around the windows so that no water gets in. Later on, I'm also going to put some silicone in around the windows to really seal everything up nice and tight. do it for that. Time to switch back to do some more siding. Get all of that siding finally on there. Getting real close to closing in on having all the siding on here. Final row. Full disclosure. Right about here, I ran out of wood. I'm literally using every bit of scrap that I have left to get this final corner covered. I'm going to actually come back later with some better pieces and put them in there, but for now I wanted to at least get it all covered up, so that's what I had to do. Okay. Finally, with all of that siding up, here's the very last thing that we're going to do on this episode. I'm going to go ahead and get all of that sealant put in. This is just a clear waterproof silicone I'm putting on there. I'm using the soapy water trick. I know this is controversial to some people, but you know what? Works great for me. I tell you what, this thing leaves some phenomenal seams if you just spray a little soapy water on it. Slowly use your finger to groom it out of there, and I tell you what, you end up with some really nice seams. A little more of the same over here on this window. Gonna rinse and repeat. Put down the silicone. Spray some soapy water. Clean it all out of there. You know what? I think that's just about gonna do it. I want to give a huge thank you to my big brother Ben, aka Wolf Wolfington. Just before moving recently, he bequeathed to me a sweet drill press to add to my new workshop's arsenal. He also brought one of his drones over to my house to film this epic aerial shot that you are seeing right now. Thank you again, big bro, and I wish you and your family all the best in your new adventure. As for this episode, guys, that is going to do it. This has been a big one. This has been a lot of work, guys, getting to this point right here. I really do appreciate everybody's support on this project. It really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps me motivated. That's going to do it for now. But don't worry, there is still a lot more to come. You guys take care, and I'll see you soon.